What's good, everyone? It's Blackbeard What Ifs back with another video, and this video is what if Deku had the Infinity Stones. I guess it's Act 2 now. Act 2, Part 1. And the stone we're using is the Reality Stone. So, just a quick recap. Deku made it into Class 1A. Made into Class 1A, everyone introduced themselves. Deku introduced himself. And he ended up acing the exam, the first exam, because come on, he's OP. You're telling me he's not finna do it, or he's not finna ace the exam? So yeah, that's basically it for the recap. So where we leave off, Deku went home and everything, and he went to sleep. And he wakes up the next morning, and he's like, "All right, let's do this." And he's just making his way towards school and everything, just kind of going on his own, making his way. When he just feels kind of this pulse, like just he feels like this feeling of like there's something else. Something's calling out to him, if you would. And he's like, "What the hell? What is this?" As all of a sudden he transforms, like, unwillingly he transforms, but now his power is activating even further. Well, no, not really. It's no, now he's just kind of getting a purple aura. He's getting this purple aura, and his aura is starting to explode with more and more power as he's trying to transform back, and eventually he does, and he's like, "What the hell?" Whatever. I got this. I can do this. As Deku starts making his way towards Class 1A. Or he starts making his way to UA and everything. And basically, he makes it to class. And Aizawa was like, "Okay, I'm not going to be your teacher for today because because someone else is going to be teaching you." As Aizawa just gets into his sleeping bag and he is out cold. Out like a light. And they start to hear this heavy thumping. Like, it's just heavy thumping. As from that thumping from that thumping, it's getting louder and louder, and everyone's wondering who it is. As all of a sudden comes bursting through the door, you just hear, "I am here," coming through the door like a normal person. And well, yeah, it's All Might. As everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's All Might." And Izumi, or Izuna, I can't remember what I made her name. I'll probably look at it afterward, but yeah. Basically, Deku's sister that he doesn't like. She is like, "Oh, hey, Dad." As no, the class is like, "Wait, what, Dad?" And she's like, "Yeah, All Might's my dad. That, yeah, he's my dad. Suck it." As they're all just kind of sitting there, and they're like, "That is bull." Okay, all right, I see how it is. Like, they're like, "Wow, all right." So she's spoiled. They can already tell. As you know, uh, All Might presses a button, and suitcases fall down in front of each student, and they're like, "Okay, everyone get suited up and meet me at Fake City, I don't know, B or A. I can't remember which one it was. But meet me at that fake city." And they're like, "Okay," and they all get dressed and everything. Deku's hero outfit is, once again, like I said, it's just this. I can't seem to find another hero outfit for him. If you guys, like, please do recommend me something to be his hero outfit, because this feels a little mediocre. Like, it just doesn't feel right. But if you guys want this to be his hero outfit permanently, I mean, hey, okay. But if not, tell me what it should be, or like give me a good description on what it should look like. And well, yeah, I'll just do that. So From that point on, everyone makes it there, and they're like, okay, we're missing one person. Where is young Midoriya? As immediately Deku, he's walking on everything in his hero suit, and he says, "Oh, shut up, All Might, I'm here already." As no, Ida looks at him and he says, "That's not. You should not be speaking to the number one hero like that." As Deku just looks at him and he's like, "Number one hero? Like number one jackass. I'm not listening to him, even if I had to." Which I don't, considering I can beat him in a fight. So yeah, nah, I'm not doing nothing. And they're all like, "Okay, yeah, sure, whatever." And while that's while Deku's talking with uh Ida, or like talking to Ida, I don't know, making a snarky remark or whatever you call it, Deku's still feeling this calling energy. Like he's feeling this power, but now the power is more amplified and it's pushing towards Deku. Like something's calling to him, pulling, drawing him in, but he doesn't know what it is. But all he knows is that whatever it is in this room. It's in this room. So they're all like, Deku, he's like, okay, I'm gonna have to find out what the hell this is and get rid of it or take it because someone in here has it and they shouldn't. As uh basically All Might's like, okay, for the first matchup of the day, it's going to be Izuku Midoriya and Ijira Kirishima going up against uh Mina Ashido and Izumi or Izuna Yaki. As immediately Midoriya is walking off and everything with Kirishima, and right before he walks off, Todoroki is like, "Hey, good luck out there." As immediately Deku fish bumps him and he's like, "Hey, good luck to you too, bro. I think you have to fight Katsumi. So yeah, you have fun with that." As he starts walking away and everything, and they make it to the building, and of course Izumi and Mina, they go in first, leaving Deku to talk with uh crap, I forgot her name. Uh oh, leaving him to talk with Kirishima, and he's talking with her and everything, and he's like, "Okay, so what's the plan?" And she's like, "Well, mm, maybe you go in, like maybe I'll try to sneak around, but you go in head on." As Deku's like, "That sounds like a pretty good idea. I am the stronger one here. I can take them. But will you be okay?" As no, she starts to turn red, and I'm not talking about her hair. She literally starts to turn red, as she's like, "Don't worry about, like, you don't have to worry about me. I'm fine." As he's like, "Okay then, let's get this over with." As Deku starts walking into the building, because All Might's like, "Okay, heroes can go in now," and he starts walking in as Kirishima loops around, and while Deku's walking, he hears this thumping again, which is from someone else now, and that thumping is basically uh, Izumi or Izuna. I can't remember what the heck I made her name. Uh, it's her running down the hall straight at him, and he sees that she seems to have kind of this red aura around her. And Deku, he's like, "What the heck?" And he gets ready and everything, and he's getting fired up. He activates his power, and they start exchanging blows. And for the most part, she's keeping up with him very well, actually. She's keeping up with Deku, and it's kind of like, what? How is this? How is this happening? And while and Deku, he's still just questioning. He's like, how is she doing this? As he realizes that reddish aura is getting a little bit more dense, so you can tell, because before it was more of a light red hue around her. Now it's more of a dark red aura. Like you can actually see it around her. And she's coming at Deku like a freight train. So he is literally like, he's just blocking, weaving, doing anything he can to not get clocked in his face by one of her hits. So no, he's fighting with her and everything, and eventually he grabs her and throws her towards a wall, where she hits the wall and poofs into smoke, a red smoke, leaving Deku to be like, "What the hell is that? What was that?" As immediately he hears a clapping as he hears someone clapping as Izumi comes from she comes from around the corner, and she's like, so it seems that you can do good against my clones. Let's see how you can do against all of them, though, at my max power. As no, Deku's like, what the hell you mean clones? As she's like, well, I happen to find something kind of like this, kind of like what you found. As she would hold up a as she would like kind of move her hero suit out of the way, revealing a gem, if you would. Kind of a ruby ish, but it's a red stone and it's just kind of glowing. As it's not in her chest, it's just kind of floating right in front of it, but yeah, it's kind of quote unquote connected to her. As Deku's like, oh shit, she has the reality stone. Oh no. And for those that don't remember all the abilities of the reality stone, I'm just gonna go here for a minute and let you all, I don't know, I'll pause for a minute just so you all can do that. So, no, you all can look at what the reality stone does, and I'll just be, I don't know, I'll go do something real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, I feel like that was a big enough break. So, I'm back, and, you know, Izumi, she is, like I said, she is like trying to come at Deku, and he's blocking and weaving and everything as she punches into a wall, pulls out a pole, and then the pole begins to morph and turn until it turns into a legit spear. And she's trying to slash and stab at Deku with it, and he's like, "What the hell? What are these abilities?" As he pulls out his sword and he's clashing with her, and their blades, they're actually clashing really good. Like neither of their blades are breaking, and they're coming at each other hard, and they're literally just slashing and weaving and everything. And so far, it's a pretty good fight because Deku, he powers like he puts some of his power into his weapon, and he throws it, causing it to spin. As Izumi literally jumps over it, like literally, like just barely jumps over it, lands and throws the spear at Deku, which Deku narrowly dodges. Like he literally jumps to the side and it just barely grazes his cheek before going straight into the wall. As Izumi will turn around and pick up Deku's weapon, and Deku will grab into the wall and pull out Izumi's weapon. And now they are just going buck wild on each other. They are just swinging, and like at this point, Izumi is trying to kill Deku with full intention. She's trying to kill this man because of just, I don't know, hatred. She's just mad that he got so powerful so quickly. So she's just trying her hardest to try and kill this man. Like she's trying to send my boy to the other life. And Deku, he's clashing the spear with her, and eventually she goes to do like a very strong swing with Deku's sword, and Deku tries to do another swing with Izumi's spear, and the spear breaks. Their weapons clash, and the spear breaks, causing Izumi to keep going, and she does a slash, a like vertical, no, yeah, a vertical slash from Deku's shoulder all the way to his waist, just across his body, and it causes him to like literally jump back in pain. As now the reality stone is starting to give off more power because they're so close to each other. It's starting to give off more power, which is causing Deku to kind of lose it a little. As he as Deku would literally just he'd get on the ground and he'd be on his knees and he would just be screaming in pain and agony, and like with one of his hands he's clutching his chest while the other one he's clutching his head, and he's screaming and wreathing in pain. As they're all like, what the hell? And like Kirishima can hear this and she's trying to make her way, but Mina stops her, so they're having a little clash. So everyone on the cameras is seeing Deku, and it's weird because what's happening to Deku is his hair is starting to change more. It's starting to become a lighter purple as the aura around him is starting to get lighter, and it's almost like he's getting stronger because he's getting a little bit taller and a little bit more muscular. Not that muscular, but a little bit more muscular. As that little shirt that he had on, this little black shirt, it just starts literally just fading into dust. And when he stands up, he looks at her and he's just like, I didn't think it would take this long for me to fully unlock it, but, well, I guess it's time for you to go then. As Deku would literally make a small orb in his, he would make a small orb, a little purple orb in his hand as it would get smaller and smaller, and he would literally just flick it with his thumb. He would flick it towards Izumi, and it would just casually float and float until Izumi goes to swing at it with with Deku's weapon. And Deku's weapon, because it was made specifically for him and his abilities, it absorbs the attack. But due to it absorbing the attack, Izumi's her hero suit, like the whole arm and glove of her hero suit, just starts decaying rapidly. Like it starts fading to dust. So she realizes that if she doesn't let go, that's gonna be her arm next. So she lets go, and the sword drops on the ground with a huge thud. As the whole sleeve and glove of her hero suit is just gone. It's just ripped. As Deku would look at her, and he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna need that stone." As he blitzes in front of her and just straight up decks her straight in the face before hitting her with another hit in the stomach, and then pulls like, I'm talking like full Tokyo Revengers. He kicks her square in the head like Mikey and sends her straight into the dirt. Like she is out like a light after that. I'm telling you guys, she is gone. And like afterwards, Deku would kind of move her hero suit a little and rip off the stone. And as he would lift it or like rip off the stone, he would hold it in his hand and he's like, "No, not yet." And he would put it in his pocket and he's like, "All right, let me go help out Kirishima." And like, it's a little hard to say what happens next because like it's a little bit of a tag team mixed with something else because like, yeah, I don't really know what to say because like it's just all types of confusing. But basically, crap, I have a headache. So what happens is Deku, he like blitzes his way over to Kirishima to see her just decking Mina's face in because Mina said some pretty hurtful things about Kirishima. So yeah, they're not on good terms right now. So yeah, once that happened, Deku was like, "All right, that's enough. You're gonna have to stop this." So Deku, he puts his hand on Kirishima without decaying her, of course, or like turning her to ash. And he moves her back and he's like, "Okay, stop this. You're gonna have to stop it." As she stops and then she just like grabs onto Deku and starts hugging him, and now she's crying and Deku's like, "Crap, I don't know what to do." So he just deactivates his power and wraps his arms around her, embracing in a very comforting hug, if you would. Very comforting. So when that happens, like, now Mina is unconscious and Izumi has been long unconscious. Like she is gone. But basically what happens is All Might says very angrily, he's very pissed about it, but he says that the hero team wins. And they all no. All Might's like, "Okay, hero team wins. Please take all injured to Recovery Girl." As Deku, he picks up both of the girls and he takes them to Recovery Girl. All while Kirishima's just kind of following him, kind of sad. So, no, all that happens. And when Deku comes back, they're talking about who the MVP is. As Momo's like, "Well, I guess I would say Deku." And they're all like, why? And they're like, well, Midoriya is, well, he's kind of smart. But at the same time, so is Kirishima. Because Kirishima, she thought of the plan, but did, Deku tried his hardest to fight without majorly injuring her. But when the time came where Izumi majorly injured him, he realized that he couldn't just incapacitate her normally. He had to do it forcefully, like painfully, of course. As everyone's like, yeah, I agree, and you know, Deku's like, well, thank you guys, but really, I do believe that Kirishima was the MVP. I mean, she made the plan and everything. As they're like, actually, yeah, you're right. She is the MVP. As she's blushing a little and she's like, wait, hold on. No, it's not me. It's not me. As they're like, oh, stop lying. It is you. As Deku gets a smile on his face and he just starts walking away. And I want you to know that this fight, this whole thing took a whole school day. No, the whole Heroes versus Villains event took a whole school day. But by the end of everything, by the end of everything, Deku was waiting at the front gate, waiting for Shoto. Todoroki walked up. He's like, "Hey, what's up, my man?" And Deku's like, "Hey, what's good?" They do a nice handshake, and once that happens, Deku and Todoroki walk off, and they hear footsteps behind them as they turn around, and Kirishima's walking up to them, or like running up, and she's like, "You guys, walk fast." Um, I wanted to ask you guys, my parents are kind of out of town for a while. Could I stay with y'all for a little bit? As Deku's like, all right, sure. I don't really mind. It is my house after all. As Todoroki's like, yeah, sure, I don't mind either. We do have extra rooms, so yeah, you can stay. As no, they make their way to the house, and Deku he goes he goes into like this little training room, this little gym type room, and Shoto follows him in, with Kirishima also following because she's curious. And in that room is a little kind of like a little machine. It's a machine on a wheel on some wheels, and it's like this little claw machine. And in front of it is like this place where you tie someone up, kind of like some BDSM type shit. So, a place where someone can be tied up and a little claw. As Deku, he pulls out, he reaches into his pocket, he pulls out a little red gem, gives it to the claw. The claw grabs onto it and everything. As Deku goes, he ties himself up, or like he goes and he's like, "Hey Shoto, can you like help me out with this?" So he's like, "Yeah, sure." He ties Deku up. They back, like after that, Shoto backs up. He's like, "All right, Kirishima, you may want to back up for this too. This is about to get really bright." As she's like, "Okay, sure, whatever," and she backs up too. And they're like, "All right, it's time to do this." As Shoto grabs onto a controller and he starts moving the joystick ever so slightly, so the machine is rolling very slowly as to not accidentally cause anything. And the closer they get, Deku starts to writhe in pain, and he starts to move and try to get out. And they're getting closer and closer, and eventually Deku opens his eyes, and like his whole eye, like all of it, it's all just purple. Like the whole eye itself, the white, the iris, everything, it's all just purple, just a glowing purple. As Deku's writhing in pain, and now he's transformed. Like he transformed now, and he's just trying to get out and everything, and it's getting closer and closer to him. And eventually, it gets to a point where now this flashing light, like they're like an inch away from each other, and now this flashing light is coming from in between. As Todoroki's moving the joystick ever so slightly, even more, and the robot's getting closer and closer until eventually they hear this big flat, like they hear this big boom, and then this flash, And then right after everything's silent, Deku, he's unconscious. He transformed back to his normal form. He's unconscious, but now his but now, like, when they check on him and everything, they tap him and he opens his eyes, and one of his eyes is just like red. Like the color is red instead of green. And it's strange, and they're like, what the hell? And yeah, it's just like a dark red, a deep red, as he looks at them and he's like, "Whoa, what's wrong?" And they tell him about the eye color, and they're like, "Oh," and like Deku's like, "Oh, shit. What do we do about this?" As they're like, "Well, there's nothing we can do about it right now. You just have to live with it." As he's like, "Yeah, sure, I can deal with it." And they basically go upstairs and they go to sleep. And that's actually where I'm gonna leave this what if off for now. And I want you all to ask, like, I want you all to please answer this question. Uh, do you think Deku should have an alternate form for this? Like, should he have another transformation that relies more on a certain Infinity Stone? Like, should he transform, and when he transforms, uh, like he has a transformation for each Infinity Stone, or should he just have the one transformation and every other ability he just, I don't know, he just uses them without any transformation or anything? Because like with the Infinity Stones, there was like a certain thing where you could see what stone he was using. So I wanted to ask you guys about it before I actually did anything. And yeah, I'm probably gonna post another video after this, but yeah, Blackbeard What If signing off. I'll see you later, boys, girls, and any gender in between. See you later.